Okay, let's talk about homelessness and policing, James.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent video, you talked about homelessness and policing as two major issues that you're concerned about. You're running for mayor of Seattle.
Yeah.
Given that men are a majority of the homeless in Seattle and King County, that's about 60% of homeless are men, according to the latest available data. And given that men are also a majority of police officers and criminals and people who experience violence from police, I would think that getting Seattle's homeless situation under control and getting Seattle's policing situation in better shape is going to have to involve helping men.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But these are two big issues going on in Seattle now: the lack of trust with our police officers and the homeless situation. Last year, due to COVID, our homeless situation just exploded by about 50% more to the population out on the streets, mainly due to the fact that, our shelters and housing were all under CDC guidelines of social distancing. So the capacity, the amount of people they could take in, dropped down by about 35%. And most of those people ended up on the street, and then there are a lot of new people who were added to the homeless population from out of town and elsewhere. My whole approach with the homeless population, though, is really to humanize them. They are people too. And I think we need to do a better job of the city of Seattle, the mayor, for instance, going and actually talking to these people and find out who they are. Put a name, a first and last name together with them, where they came from, what they might be suffering from. Is it alcohol abuse or substance abuse, or are they running from the law? Whatever. And then be able to provide housing and the services on top of that. My big push would be for more affordable housing, more tiny home villages scattered throughout our city. I think every neighborhood needs to bear the brunt of some of this responsibility of housing and taking care of our homeless. But once we can get them off the streets and into a small setting of 20 or 30 or 40 people at a time, then we can provide the services much more efficiently on a rotating basis from the city of Seattle. So that's really my approach. I think it will work. I think most people, if given a home, I just saw a wonderful program last weekend on CBS Sunday Morning about Home First. And the first thing they supplied to the homeless person was a place to call home. Now that person is in off the street. They're no longer worried about their personal belongings being stolen or ruffled through. They're warm, they're clean, and now they're much more open to receiving those services that they need. So we have to have homes first and then be able to build on it from there.
Okay.
Yeah. In regards to our policing, I am pro-police. I'm against defunding our police department. I think we need to continue training our police department, the police officers, continue training, ongoing training. As it is, they don't get nearly enough training. And so if I was mayor, would make sure that one of my programs I talk about now is every 3 months, you have your officer come in off the street and into a classroom setting where for 1 week, they're in a classroom and they're de-stressing. They're learning all the latest policies and procedures and techniques, and they can see a mental health counselor during that week if they need to, talk about their family life, talk about the stress they're under. And then after a week, they're ready to get back out there on the street, and they're no longer, trigger happy, for lack of a better word. They're no longer so jittery and jumpy at everything. They've calmed down a little bit. And do this every 3 months. Bring them in, give them something different to do, let them rest, let them de-stress, and then put them back out there. We need to build our police department up again. We only have about 1,000 police officers in Seattle right now. That's down from a normal number of about 1,600 officers. Last year, in the COVID year, 2020, we lost over 200 officers due to retirement and transfer and all those kind of things. We've already lost another 100 officers this year, the same kind of thing, transfers and retirement. So we need to build back up our police force. And we can only do that by recruiting good officers, probably having to pay some kind of sign-on bonus But in exchange for that sign-on bonus, I would require and request that they have to sign an agreement to stay with our Seattle Police Department for at least 2 years. We're going to train you and we're going to give you a bonus, $25,000, $50,000. You are committed to our city of Seattle for at least 2 years. And that way we don't end up just training them and they run off to another surrounding city here for a less strenuous job. So I think our police officers need to get out of their patrol cars and get back to community policing. We need to see our officers. We need to see who they are. You can't see them behind those dark tinted glass windows that they drive with their cars up and down the roads. Get out, walk your beat in your neighborhood, let the kids see you, get to know people by their first and last name. They get to know you. Ride your bicycle if you want to. Take off some of this gear that you're wearing. They all wear so much layers and layers of what looks like riot gear. I call them Super Ninja Turtle outfits because they got everything going on. You don't need that to walk your neighborhood. And I think the neighbors would appreciate that. The kids would have somebody else positive in their life coming by, checking on them, saying hi to them. And better than bicycles is to put our police officers on horseback. Wow, a big old police horse come galloping down your street. All the kids would come out to say hi and wander about the horse and ask questions. And it's a great way to build this community relationship back again. So those are the things I have in mind for our police department.
Great.